Yesterday saw what I would class as the arrival of the first real winter frosts. Luckily, I'd preempted this by looking on the weather forecast and making provisions in the greenhouse to protect the Christmas potatoes in particular. Just go and have a look and see how they fared. The temperatures did reach -1 in here, but on this cover here is the Christmas potatoes, and on the other couple of little fleeces here and some neck curtain, I've actually got some chilli still ripening. The foliage at the moment looks untouched, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the little fleece tent is going to do the trick. If it does drop much below zero the coming nights, I shall put a candle in here. I'm fortunate in the position of this greenhouse does allow it to warm up quite quickly, and now it's gone just after 10:05. You can see I'm already 38 degrees, but rest assured, as soon as the sun drops, the temperatures will as well. There's a question doing the circuit in the YouTube gardening channel at the moment, whereby you're asked to nominate your 3 lessons learnt during the season. Well, I've been kindly nominated by Tamara. If you haven't been over to her site, please go and have a look. It's called the Swiss Plot, and she's got some marvellous camera angles, production, so I really recommend you go. I'll put a link at the bottom. So I've been nominated by Tamara to highlight my 3 lessons learned for this year. So here goes. First lesson learnt is this sad sight, and it's what's left of my leeks. Well, this has been devastated by the allium leaf miner, and it's my own fault. Normally I net these with a very fine insect mesh, Enviromesh. This time, for whatever reason, I never got round to it and I'm devastated. There's still a lot of leeks on our site which have been covered, and they are perfect. So that's a lesson I've definitely learnt and won't be repeating it next year. The next lesson's not far from the leeks, and it's this. Whenever I've finished a bed in future, emptied it, straight away I'm going to be cover it with this black polythene. Otherwise, very quickly, something like this will turn into this and cause you hours of weeding. This is my 3rd lesson learned, and it's pointing towards the Swedes. And normally I sow these in modules and plant them out as and when, but this year, because I was running late, I decided to sow direct. I did 2 drills, sowed the seed and had fantastic germination. There lies the problem, I never thinned them out. And looking a bit farther now closely, as you can see, there's nothing developed. They've been too closely packed, so it looks as though there's going to be no harvest of Swedes for me this year. Another lesson learned. Right then, it's my turn to nominate 3 victims to give us their 3 lessons learnt this year. Apologies to the guys if they've already answered the questions, because I'm not up to speed of who's answered what yet, but here goes. The first one I'd like to pick is a chap named Wayne. His channel's called Wayne's Allotment. Now, he's not a million miles away from me, just a few miles north the border in the next county of Staffordshire. I did bump into Wayne at the Morven Autumn Show, so Wayne's Allotment is the first one. The second one is a chap named Dan. He does his channel's called The Enduring Gardener. Now, I see Dan quite a lot again around the garden shows, but he does exhibit. Not vegetables or fruit, but he actually sells greenhouses. If you follow his channel, he's got a marvellous country garden, and it's in immaculate condition. So that's Dan. Now, last but not least is a good friend of mine named Richard, and his channel's called the Veg Grower Podcast. If you're not familiar with Richard, he does a weekly podcast of the same name, Veg Grower Podcast, and he covers all sorts of topics, meeting up with other gardeners, visiting shows, so it's well worth a watch. Anyway, I'm going to put a link to all those channels down the bottom so you can click on them and take a look. We are approaching the end of October now, and I really need to get my garlic in. Unfortunately, the garlic's destined for this bed, so it's time to say goodbye to these fellas. They really have flowered the hearts out this year for me, and I am reluctant to pull them up, but these things happen. I will probably lift the dahlias though and store those. The task has been made easy by looking at the dahlias and say those few nights of frost have nipped them, so I know they won't be going anywhere anymore. That's that bed cleared now. I've just got all the dahlias out. Quick word about the dahlias. I grew these from seed, and when I put them in there it was poor looking specimens, but nature has a way of coming back and rewarding us, and looking at some of these tubers now, I'm very happy with those. So I'll be drying those out, storing them, and hopefully they'll be back in the ground again for next season. I've turned that bed over with a fork and removed most of the weeds. I'm going to now give it a top dressing with this Orgrow. It's a multi-purpose farmyard manure. You can see there's like a granulated thing. It smells lovely. So I'll give that a good top dressing, and also add a bit of bloodfish and brown, then rake the whole lot in. I'm just about to start planting now, starting with the elephant garlic, and then I'll continue on with the rest of the bed with a conventional marker. If you want to see a more detailed way how I'll plant, I'll put a little card in the top corner, and then you can follow that. The elephant garlic's in. I'm just about to start the normal now. Before I start planting, I just want to show you these bulbs, and I've broken them down into the cloves. These are a variety called Marco, and you can see how lovely colour they are. Yippee, the garlic's in. I've got 4 rows of elephant in this end. That's it's 5 in a row, so that's 20. And on this end here, we've got the Marco, 4 rows again, but there's 8 in there, so that's a total of 32. With the hour change in the clock, the light levels drop very quickly now, and also the temperatures. So what I plan to do on this now is just to put a cover over, probably a bit of Enviromesh, and it'll help keep the fox up and stop him from digging it. My last job for today is that we've got some cold and possibly wet weather coming in again. Now I've already got 3 tanks of carrots here ready for pulling, but I don't want to pull them yet. So what I'm going to do is just take all the foliage off, and I'll probably put a bit of polycarb over the top just to keep all the water out, because that's the last thing I want, is the soil to get sodden and waterlogged. So I'm just going to take the foliage off, and I'll put the tops on. So I've chopped 3 boxes of carrots down, the foliage off. So 1 or 2 actually come uncovered here. You can see them. These are the sweet candle ones, but I think that'll be alright. So what I'm going to do now is put a bit of polycarb over the top of these. I'll stick a piece of wood across just to give a bit of airflow, and it doesn't actually stifle them. Well, that's me done for today now. It's starting to get a bit cold. Amazing how much stuff's come off here. These will be going into the compost bin. Still plenty of work to do on the allotment, and in the next episode I'll be introducing you to a new member of the film crew. So until then, see you later, bye for now.